The following podcast contains mature language and adult discussion.
Kliq This, Kev and Nash podcast. Thought we'd come back for week 2. We thought we'd come back. Here we are for week 2.
We're back, baby.
Here he is. The guy that you're all here to see. And you were here to see in huge numbers last week. I don't know if you saw
Much
everything.
appreciated. Yeah, thank you so much, everyone.
But we were, of course, we were the number 1 wrestling podcast. I mean, you knew that was going to happen. We hit number 4 on all sports. Yeah, there you go. Number 4 on all sports. Oh, wait, I didn't even know this. On all podcasts, we were 51. I knew we were like 127 out of the number I was quoted was 3 million podcasts. But we were 51. Steve, bring that up again. We were 51 on all podcasts. Is this as of today, I guess? Number 1 wrestling, number 4 sports. The Brits are a little slow over there, apparently. You guys are going to have to get your shit together.
Well, I'm going to be doing a little something about some meat pie later on, so.
Yeah. The delectable UK cuisine.
It's gotten great. I mean, the last 10 years I've been traveling over there, man, they really picked their game up.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I know they do good curry, right? That's the deal.
Oh, there's a place in London that's by the theater district, Piccadilly, that's just unbelievable. Best Indian food in the world. Besides India.
50, number 51 in the United States. So that means we beat a ton of podcasts and podcasts that you guys would know. For example, I think this week in Australian rules football blew them out of the water. Oh, they didn't have a shot. Overcoming dryness with Dr. Ruth Westheimer. I saw we hurdled her. I think, what else do we have there? Oral fixations in the Catholic Church. Destroyed them. They didn't have a shot. So, congratulations.
In their defense, I think they were actually running a repeat episode.
It's 400 repeats every year in every parish. I should also say that, and I neglected to say this last week, but you had a birthday.
Yes.
That we did not acknowledge.
Well, the reason we don't is because I figure at my age, why tell the fucking Reaper that you got by him another season? So,
right. Did you tell me on camera there were no 60-year-old Nashes about 10 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and now it's just my brother.
And you.
I mean, yeah, but my sister now.
Right.
So my sister. So, she'll be 60. So
you're proving them all wrong.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. So happy birthday. I don't have anything planned. No stripper's going to kick your door down over there in Daytona and run in it. But actually in Daytona, you could probably stick your head out the window and there's some tattooed piece of trailer trash bouncing down the street there that you could invite in,
Yeah, but I don't live in that area.
No, I know you don't. I was so shocked the first time I went to Daytona. You hear Daytona, it's like, oh, okay, it's a destination. I was driving that. Holy shit. What's the street on the water there?
Atlantic.
Holy fuck. Kept my windows up. You did send me to a nice steakhouse though. So shout out to the
Hyde Park.
The folks at Hyde Park. So you did turn 63. So congratulations to that. We do have some feedback. Okay, of course it's everyone's very vocal today. As you know, anything you say is going to be commented on. So here's some of what we got last week. Can't read them all, obviously. There were thousands, but DH said yesterday, I got a little emotional hearing real Kevin Nash talk about his best friend. The news of Scott's condition and eventual passing broke my heart. Can't imagine how much it hurt Big Kev. Great show, though. That was a nice tribute. Anyone who missed it, we did a tribute to Scott Hall last week, where it was just Kevin's memories, remembrances, stories, and we went pretty deep, didn't we, big guy?
Yeah, we did. But I mean, I actually, I watched it back, and I could see that I pulled out, like I did the Tom Cruise Maverick. No, it's not right. Can't engage, and pulled out because I was starting to get, and I wouldn't have been able to finish if I'd have went much longer. I was starting to get pretty emotional.
Yeah,
I
they
just
say like at press conferences, like when you see like an athlete retire or whatever, best thing to do when it starts to wash over you, you just stop talking
That's it.
because then you sound a little weird.
I
When you're
just
trying to
I mean,
recover.
yeah. It's just when I just needed to go someplace else, and that's the beauty of Norm Macdonald. Anytime that you start getting a little choked up, just think about God.
Does that work for fucking too? Like if if you don't want to bring it home yet, you think a little Norm?
Always think about Norm saying, "No, don't do it, man. Don't be weak. Stay in there, kid."
They're gonna play this on every show now. If you start crying.
Yeah.
Who else reached out? Beverly D. Russell said, I was running around yesterday getting ready for work, #educator, and I was listening, but not as deeply as I wanted to episode 1. So much truth, raw talk as I listened again. #he is all that. #respecting Scott's struggle. Jack Foster reached out, but I'm just about 30 minutes in, and oh boy, there's going to be a lot of people crying about Stick to Wrestling and other BS like that. But brother, I'm glad that Kev's not scared to be himself, say what he means. F&A, thank you. That was the whole point of the show, wasn't it? And this is you. It's look inside your mind.
Well, I think that's what we wanted. I mean, we just wanted it to, and like people are, I read some of the comments are like, oh, you got to go to 33.15 to get by where they talking about this and that. And it's just like, so this week we're going to open up with 1986 Starrcade opening match.
Oh, you poked the bear, guys.
Yeah.
I'm digging the soft lighting though. I want to say there's a tone, there's a rose tone to it. I feel like Seika might come in the room at any moment. I'm showing my age with that one.
When was the last time you actually cracked open a swank?
Swank leg show?
Yeah. Swank was, that was just pure. You went to somebody's house and they had a swank. You didn't touch it. You didn't pick it up and browse through a swank because you knew that was nothing but a jackrag. Now, I read swank for the articles. Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
No.
You do have an argument if you talk about Playboy, though. There was always a ton of great material on Playboy.
Yeah, if you could, after the age of 9, if you could go home on a Playboy, you were in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I was in that penthouse era, by then, and then, Gallery made a push because they had the girl next door.
Okay.
And then, of course, I was never a hustler guy though. I was a swank guy.
I never got the Penthouse Letters deal. You know those little books? They were
forums.
It was text. It was all text. Was that for women? Maybe. What guy's going to sit there and read?
I used to read them because they'd always, they'd be. I guess it'd be fucked up if you didn't get laid. Like if you read about guys getting laid and you weren't getting no action, it'd be like, what the fuck? But I used to always love this one. I'm a normal size guy, 11 soft. Like, what? What are you walking out of a cold lake? 11 soft. How do you get 11? 11 soft centimeters, motherfucker.
But these things, was it the Penthouse Letters? You said it was.
It was Penthouse Forum.
Forum, right? And it was all text. I mean, so guys would be hammering and like with the comma and the semicolon, the whole deal. They're reading, and that's a very, very visceral experience. My hat's off to anybody that decided to read text while they were pounding salt.
I think what it was while you took a dump, you read,
and then
and then when it's time, because there's no reason. Like I always when I was in my masturbation prime, including
this afternoon.
I was going to say, including my 63rd birthday. No, I would always, defecate, wipe, get up, wash my hands, sit back down. And then I used to, a lot of people won't get this reference. but I used to do what I called the Gaylord Perry.
The pitcher.
Yeah, the pitcher. And what a lot of guys would do is they'd get their lotion and they'd put it on and they'd start, and then they'd go dry and have to go to it again. I was like Gaylord Perry. I'd have Vaseline here, Vaseline here, Vaseline here, Vaseline on my leg. I'd be working it fucking just fucking
Right.
just go into the pockets, man.
Make sure the ump doesn't pop out of the hamper and get you for it. But you're like 7 feet tall. You would sit back down on the bowl
Yeah.
and lean back. Did you knock the fucking commode off the back of the toilet?
No, what you have to do if you're once you go through the experience like 2 or 3 times in your life, you realize you've got to pick the top of the toilet off. Because you're going to lay back in that fucking toilet fucking lid, that thing where it holds the water. You're going to knock that fucking thing. That's going to make noise.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And the thing is like, there were like early in the masturbation, fucking, you got to realize I grew up in an 800 square foot one bathroom house. So fucking a 40 by 20 house. The bathroom was probably 6 by 4. And you're down there fucking like,
You better be fast.
but I never was.
You just banging on the door.
Come on. I remember, not to be too graphic, but when my son became of age, and his mom would come in and bang on his door in the bathroom, she'd go, "What are you doing in there?" And I'd say, "Well, in my career, it'd be called starting over." She'd be like, "No." I'm like, "Yes.
Flattering impression of your wife there too.
Well, you always
a
got to
little bit
get
of Wicked Witch of the East, a little bit of
no. White. She's Southern. She's a sweetheart.
Listen, it almost doesn't matter what we plan to start the shows with. I'm starting to realize that I should really write nothing is really what I should just do. All right, let's see who else weighed in. There's some worthy. Listen, it's not all going to be good stuff, Kevin. Of course, right? Some folks are going to be critical, like Travis Peters, who says, "I just don't like the politics." That said, on the ad-free site, they said you can fast forward to the 33-minute mark and skip all that crap. So like that, Travis will be. I don't know how you feel about masturbation, Travis. You may want to slide down past this as well, or if that's okay, it's just the Proud Boys you don't want to talk about.
And like I tell anybody that's thinking about marrying a guy, and it's a female, it's a friend of mine. She's like, I don't know if I could trust him. I said, just ask him if he masturbates. If he says no, fucking dump the guy because he'll lie. He says shit. Bail. Yeah. And the second thing is, my mom used to say that if everybody likes you, you're doing something fucking wrong.
That's funny. I say that to people because I get a little. If too many people like you, something's wrong, right? And I use that exact saying. I say, if too many people like you, didn't do anything important.
Do you want to be
funny?
I don't. I mean,
I didn't realize it was your mother. I should be attributing it to Mrs. Nash.
Yeah, she was. I had some good wisdom in that house. Let me tell you, like, real cliff notes of my mother's life. So my mom has got 4 brothers. She's got 3 brothers, a sister, and herself. And her mom and dad go to the store. They live in Paducah. They actually live in Ledbetter, Kentucky, but it's outside of Paducah. And her mother and father go to the store. The motherfuckers never come back. My Uncle Jerry is in a crib. My Uncle Wade is maybe 5. My mom might be 7. My Aunt Shirley's 9, and my Uncle Glenn is probably like 13. My Uncle Glenn kind of keeps shit running for a while. Finally, the truant officer fucking comes in because everybody's missing school and shit. They take the 4 of them away. But my Uncle Glenn boogies. He bolts. Goes and gets a job in Cleveland. Living in the streets and shit. But they took all of them to an orphanage, and then my mom ended up not getting adopted out of this orphanage. And she ran away from the orphanage at 15 to my aunt's house in Detroit. And this fucking bitch basically made my mom, who looked like Elizabeth Taylor, car hop every day after school, took all of her money, didn't let her go out on the weekends. And finally,
What's car hop? What's car hop mean?
When you work at a drive-in and you bring the food like to the
yeah,
car hop. It's so
different generation than I am.
Yeah. So she runs away and runs into this lady named Mimi, and she teaches women how to type and do shorthand and get some jobs. And my mom went and applied for a job at Ford Motor Company, and she was like 17 and a half years old. And she got the job because she was amazing looking. And back then, during that Mad Men era, she was gorgeous. So as the story goes, my mom's sitting there typing. She's 18 years old. And Big Bob
Nash?
Big Bob Nash walks over from Reproduction Building 3, supervisor.
As it were.
Yeah, walked through, saw her, and said, wow. Saw her a little bit later on in the week and said, hey, where do you live? How do you get to work? She said, I take the bus. I live in Allen Park. He goes, oh, really? Go right by there. It's 25 minutes out of his way. My dad picks her up every day, brings her fucking lunch, takes her home. Long story short, they get married. And, finally my mom gets the Cinderella story. Has 3 kids with my father, and then he dies at 36 years old on April 4th, 1968, the morning of the day that Martin Luther King was assassinated.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, and so.
That's...
Did you really let me talk politics?
I was going to say, I just want to point out, we're 17 minutes in, and no one has mentioned the bunkhouse stampede yet, so...
fuck.
People might be
Hey,
out.
I watched Raw. I watched Raw this week.
And?
It's kind of crazy because, they're going into SummerSlam. Like, everything was like a segment that was like talking that brought in people, and then some kind of altercation where maybe they blow people out of the ring, and then come back and they'd set up anyway they have a tag match.
If they started blowing people in the ring, you would get a ratings pop.
Yeah, I don't think I'd watch. But the thing was that, and it was kind of great because they started off and they showed Roman Reigns from Friday's SmackDown. And they cut right into Lesnar's music, and out came Lesnar. And Lesnar wasn't. I hadn't heard that Lesnar was coming back, so it was a pleasant surprise. And it's funny because Brock, always had Heyman talk for him.
Mm-hmm.
And Brock came out. He's not bad at an interview. He's not great, but I don't really fucking think Brock gives 2 fucks. It was funny. He came down with a black hat on. He says, well, since I'm in Texas, I'm going to be a gentleman and take my hat off. He took his hat off. I don't know if he did this on purpose, but if he did, it was smart as fuck because he doesn't want to be a babyface. But they pushed him that way. And he took the hat and he laid it brim down instead of upward as you're supposed to put a hat. So if he fucking knew that would, because it caught my eye, I said, oh, that's wrong.
That's too subtle, though. Don't you think that's too subtle? I would know that.
I would hope he would, because that's the kind of shit that just makes me go, oh, fuck yeah. Like if you have that, because everybody gets, and then he kind of did kind of a Texas voice for a second, kind of, hey, oh. And then, and then this, the Theory kid came out. But Paul came out, and Paul's always, Paul's always Paul. And it was funny that Paul cut the promo and put Lesnar over that he would have cut had he been in the ring putting Lesnar over.
Mm-hmm.
But he said that he kind of cut the promo and then said, but Roman Reigns is going to basically take his hand, put it up his ass, and pull his heart out if he has to in this last man standing match. Which, I'll watch because, like I said, if somebody fucking those two guys going at it, it'll be something. I'll be able to lose myself and it won't be a spot fest.
Right.
You know.
That's the whole thing. Can
Yeah.
can you engage me? Totally. But and listen, I don't need the work rate. I think it's a generational thing too. I think people come to expect it to be Cirque du Soleil every match, and if it's not, it's a work rate issue. That was born out of the dirt sheets, I guess, right, with all the ratings and stuff. But if you would just give me a couple of characters that I can watch, you'll hook me. I'll stay for a segment.
The Theory kid's interesting. You know, he's I tell you what they do the first thing and Theory goes to this elimination chamber match that Brock was in, and Brock picks up Theory in the fucking F5 and dumps him off the top of the chamber onto the steel, which is around the ring. No padding. I don't know if it was a work somehow that they had that one area, you know, that he could land on.
Right.
But I'm thinking to myself, like, so it's last man standing. There's a good chance it's going to be Lesnar, and you're going to come down and cash in. I mean, unless fucking that motherfucker's flatlined, I'm not cashing in my money in the bank. I mean,
right.
But the story is now that, because Reigns is approaching 700 days of being the unified champion, and so earlier, Theory I think will go up against Lashley for the U.S. title, and then he'll cash in. So if he wins he'll be the youngest world champion ever at 24 years old. So there's some intrigue there because everybody knows that he's kind of Vince's guy.
But don't you think that long title reigns are so much better?
Oh God, yes.
It so minimizes a belt when it gets handed around. So I do like the fact that maybe there'll be some weight given back to lengthy title reigns. Who knows?
The guys in the main event worked their fucking ass off. The week before I said Seth Rollins wasn't laying the shit in. Maybe he just had a bad week because he was fucking spot on. The guys just worked their fucking ass off.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend good psychology. They brought Ziggler down like before the commercial break, and he just kind of like sat in a kind of a weird place at ringside. But it was that set up the finish where Theory put his feet on the ropes. He knocked him out, and my boy rolled him up, and then Ziggler came in and kicked Theory, and they went off the air with Ziggler returned and Theory on his back unconscious from the kick. So they left with heat, and this Theory's got so many, people that are in his mix that I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Well, good. So that's the Raw recap, everyone. That's the Raw recap. The weekly Raw recap.
Now let's talk about the January 6th Senate subcommittees.
Bringing their finger down to slide. You know what? Something I also neglected to mention last week. We're going to Nashville for a live Kliq This. Okay, so those of you that didn't, is it sold out? Can they still get tickets? I don't know. It's Starrcast. Go to Starrcast.com for more information. But part of the big Starrcast weekend, I think some guy's having his last match or something like that. I don't know, something's going on. But there's going to be the first ever live Kliq This. So that'll be happening in Nashville.
There'll be children in that crowd, so that'll put a muffler on us.
No, yeah, we're daytime, right? We're 12:30, I think.
Yeah,
I think our show's 12:30 on Sunday the 31st. So if you can only come see one thing that weekend, there's a plethora of activity.
Well, my big ass is up at 9 o'clock signing autographs until till noon. So.
Oh, good for you. Call me at about 11. Make sure
I'll
I'm
do
down
that.
there, right? That's all.
Send you some cream brulee fucking oatmeal.
You know what I did want to ask you, though, last week? We touched on it so briefly, but we talked about about playing for Tennessee, right? And you went to play pro ball in Germany, wasn't it? And then you hurt the leg, and that was that. You did rehab the leg, and you did come back. But I wanted to ask you, had the leg injury not happened, would you have been able to have a longer career, a more fruitful career in basketball than in wrestling? Did you look at it as a blessing in disguise at all, or do you still see it as a missed opportunity to play pro ball?
I mean, for me, I kept lifting weights, and I just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and I just got slower and slower and slower. I was strong as a bull for a basketball player. I think I was the first guy ever to do 315 on the bench at the University of Tennessee as a basketball player. But I just wish that I had realized I wasn't going to play professional basketball at the level I wanted to, not fucked up my knee, and gotten to the fucking ring with 2 healthy knees and a fucking 38-inch vertical. And,
Right.
Instead of, I sent you that picture of fucking what my leg looked like at the end of my career.
Yeah, it's making a left.
Yeah, it's just disintegrated. So,
but could you have played a full career in Europe, or is the goal always to get back here?
No, because I was talking to back then, the money wasn't like it is now because they didn't have that Turkish league. But you could make 250. And the thing was, see, it was still the Deutschmark back then. And like the one year I was there, the Deutschmark hovered around 370 to 405 per dollar. So I was making like in between 8 to $1 million Deutschmark a year. And they paid, I had a BMW 733. And my place I had a 2-bedroom, like little crib that was paid for. And so, and hell, I took the train a lot of times into the, because I could take the train and then walk 15 minutes to the practice facility and do the same thing going home, and then when I went to the other train station, get out and take a bus that dropped me off right in front of my house. Sometimes I wouldn't even want to, wouldn't want to drive.
So it was an ideal situation while you were over there.
And we had like a double-decker bus with like first class seats, and we played basically, we drove to everything, and you go out for like a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, and play, then come back and then do it at home, and then it was a kind of a rotation. You lived for Berlin, and everybody, because fucking the game would get over, go back to the hotel and sleep because Berlin didn't fucking kick till about 2 a.m. So you'd get like a fucking power nap, and then everybody would get on the bus the next fucking day with what they had on that night. Right. I mean, just fucking right from the fucking bar right into the bus. So
were your coaches American coaches?
Yeah. I want to think that our coach was a grad assistant at Marquette at one time. He spoke great English. He spoke perfect English. So
he's a good basketball coach. So many times the best coaches, I want to make sure I'm not wrong about this. Think for a minute. The best basketball coaches were not the best players, right? You look at Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, what's his name? Georgetown, Thompson. They weren't the best players. What made them the best coaches? Is it all cerebral? Is it all strategy and mental?
You take a guy like Steve Kerr, right, that played, I think as a player, he's got 5 championship rings. I think 2 with the Spurs and 3 with the Bulls. I think that's, don't quote me on that, but he played he played with Jackson. He played with like coaching him. He also played with Pops coaching him. So when you're in, like, it depends a lot of the systems that you play in as a player. You know, if you have a great technique, you know, as much as I didn't like my coach in college, the motherfucker could teach you to play defense.
Mm.
You know, like, we were a defensive team, and the thing was, if you can play defense, you're always in the game, because you're gonna have nights where you don't fucking score.
Right.
There's not a fucking soul on your team that can hit. And you got to realize too, like, my son would watch tapes of me playing ball. He'd be like, "Dad, what the fuck is wrong with, like, why?" And I'm like, "There's no 3-point line." He's like, "Oh, fuck." Because that was the difference of the game is there's no 3-point line. That 30-point fucking shot counts as the same as that fucking jump hook from the block.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, if I, in my wildest dreams, if I would have thought that the ball would go to the post and the center's job would be to just turn, pivot, and throw it to the opposite corner for a 3. You know, like, if that was a basketball. You know, I mean, the game has changed so much. And that was the thing that Shawn Michaels told me that really stuck. I'm gonna jump around here like a fucking
Dusty Road. Can we get to Dusty in the bunkhouse stampede at all?
But I'm working my way. So anyway, I went down and I watched NXT taping, and I said to him, I said, "Fuck," I said, like, "Slow it the fuck down, right?" And he just looks at me, and this is exactly how he just looks at me and goes, "It's not the style anymore. You just have to accept that. The style is the style." And I'm like, wow. Like, and he goes, he says, "You go out there and fucking do test of strength." He said, "People will walk the fuck out of the arena." He says, "They're operantly conditioned now to do this. The fans want to see this. They want to see a spot fest. That's great. I mean, if that's what the fans want. I particularly don't." I thought that the tag match that ended Raw had psychology. Yes, there were spots, but the first time Theory gets brought in, it's fucking a stiff fucking punch, good facials. He goes to the body digs a couple of fucking shots, some body shots in him. They fucking keep cutting the ring off, not letting Lashley get the tag. And I'm just saying, like, and they're working in and out, and Seth's coming in and doing 1-2 things, boom, tagging back out, like the old Anderson brothers that work in the corner. And it's just like, there we go. That's tag psychology. Fucking finally, Lashley gets the fucking hot tag, but then they fucking stop him. And, it's just like, I don't know.
So what you're saying is you can still have elements of what you're talking about and still keep I think Michaels was probably talking about the pace, right?
Yeah.
When he said that. He was just talking about that. I mean, from the bell, it is like, we're off to the races for the most part in every match. So that's probably.
And it's not like the guys don't put time in. It used to be fucking 8 to 12 that was it. These guys get a lot more time than that. So, but it's what it is. I'm glad I'm retired.
It is time for the stiff one of the week now. Kev, I want you to picture yourself for a minute out there in Hollywood, all right, circa 1985 maybe, with your fancy Hollywood friends, okay? Let's say you're at something really exciting, a party. Let's say it's the Golden Girls wrap party, okay? Things wrap up. You find yourself ending the night. Maybe the wild night moves to the Chateau Marmont, and you got B and Betty and Rue with you, okay? You introduce a few bottles of champagne into the scene, and how are you going to be sure you're going to be able to bring the wood? Because you're going to probably 2 or 3 times, minimum, until the sun rises and the cock has crowed.
That's right.
Now, blue is I'm not talking about the hair in the room.
No.
I'm talking about BLUECHEW, okay? That's right. The stiff one of the week is brought to you by BLUECHEW. Guys, confidence is what it's all about, and it doesn't have to end at the bedroom door, okay? This is where it comes time to step up to the plate. Blue Chew is a unique online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, but in chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. You can take them anytime, day or night, so you can plan ahead, be ready whenever the opportunity arises. The process is simple. Sign up at BlueChew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, I knew that theme song was going to end. Once you're approved, you will receive your prescription within days. The best part, it's all online. Thank you. You're not sitting in the doctor's office talking about this, talking about the knocking the toilet off the back. Worse than that, you don't have to deal at the pharmacy. One of the girl's friends is going to come out, ask you what you got. I can't find your prescription. Can you tell me again what it was? We don't need this, okay? Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA. They're prepared and shipped direct to your door in discreet packaging. This all happens undercover, brother. Okay? Now listen, Kevin has arranged for a special deal for his fans, okay? If you can benefit from a little extra confidence when it comes time to perform, Blue Chew can help. And we got a special deal for the listeners here. Try Blue Chew free, okay, when you use the promo code NASH at checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. We got the loop going, baby. That tells me I'm at about a minute and 45 seconds. Pay the shipping. It's BlueChew.com, promo code NASH to receive your first month free. Visit BlueChew.com for more details and important safety information. We thank you, Blue Chew, and we thank you for being a friend, Blue Chew, a friend to our show. All right, now the stiff one of the week is not so much going to be an audio cue, so I'm going to have to, for the folks listening, I will talk you through this. This is a night in Philadelphia, Kevin, where I don't know if you remember this. I don't know if fans even remember this, but you blew your quad out during a match. Now, this is probably a revelation to a lot of people. So here's the stiff one of the week, guys.
Maybe it'll come to me when I see it.
Maybe when you see it. Let's bring this up, Steve. What do we have here? We got, here it is. We got Kevin getting the tag. He's coming in. He's coming over to Booker, shooting him in, ducks the clothesline, takes the boot. Now, Kev's going to head to the corner to give Bully a shot, and he goes down. He's clutching the leg. He's in the corner. Now, you're telling the ref, you remember exactly what you said to the ref there?
I'm fucked.
I'm fucked. So the ref does the signal, the cross, the X, which means we got a hurt wrestler out here. Now, let's go back. Steve, can you do this for me? There are a lot of conspiracy theorists out there, as you might have known if you read Twitter after the last show. Now, I want to slow down this thing here. A lot of people question. They talk about nothing happened. You went down and nothing happened. So I'm looking at the crowd now. Let's go slow. I'm looking for somebody throwing a projectile, maybe. Do you see anything?
This is the thing that people don't understand is when I went to Birmingham the next day and they opened my leg, they found a pristine bullet.
Right.
So there was rumors that Woody Harrelson's uncle had been at that Raw taping.
Let me tell you somebody who was at the Raw taping. This is true. Steve, can you bring yourself up here for a minute? Our producer, Steve Kaufman, was in the crowd that night.
So why don't you tell me, Steve, what happened?
I'm not going to be a lot of help. I was watching the match. This match had a lot going on in this moment. And people have asked me about it for a long time. I don't have a recollection of seeing this happen live. I only have ever seen it in clips like this.
Well, you were stoned out of your mind, probably. But that aside.
I was 16. That is what 16-year-olds do.
Well, you said something very wise before I was talking to you when you told me you were actually there. You said, I didn't see it because shoot injuries aren't spectacular. The work injuries, somebody falls off a scaffold. Kev, this is like taking on a life of its own, the quad injury.
Well, let me tell you something, Sean Oliver. That tan, I spent half the year in the Baja to get that tan. I'm a Navy SEAL.
But no, I want you to address this because I finally have you on the quad, and a lot of people have been blocked on Twitter. A lot of people have been blocked on Twitter.
Yeah,
because of the quad.
It felt like a shotgun. It felt like somebody. Anybody that's ever torn an ACL, like magnify that times, I mean, your ACL is, like that. You fucking quad, like you could feel it go as you're going down. You could just feel it rip. And then I went down and when Bubba was really cool because Bubba like bent over me and he was talking to me and I said, I think it's my fucking knee. And he said, I'm I'm pulling on it right there to see if it's snug. Like there's not like that movement that when you tear your ACL. So Bubba comes over and watch Bubba and I'll say, brother, and he's like, so he's like, stay where you're at, and then he just kind of lays down to make sure, and he just makes sure there's nobody hits me.
Oh,
see, he's just he's just
That's
making
cool.
sure nobody hits me because he knows I'm hurt.
Now you were you should have been braced, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't have that brace.
Well, I wasn't medically clear because I had tore my bicep, so I wasn't medically clear for this. And they Delta dashed my gear, and Disco went to my house and got it was kind enough to get my gear, but just grabbed one of the wrong braces, and it was the wrong brace for the left knee.
That Gilberti fucked up. Was that? Is that
No, he did me a favor. I mean,
no, I know. Give
yeah,
him
it was.
shit. Back and to the left. If you play that really slowly, back and to the left, back and to the left,
back and to the left,
and to the left. That was the quad. That was
what
the stiff one.
What we have right here is a coup de grace.
Exactly.
A shirt. That's a turkey shoot in the corner.
That was the stiff one of the week. We have Florida man or Jersey guy next. We have our next game here. Florida man or Jersey guy. I'm going to read you two headlines. They are real, but you're going to tell me which one happened in which state. Your fair state.
Can I ask you a question?
Adopted state. Yeah.
Did you tear a quad when you came up with these?
How many years? I mean, is it that incessant?
That's fucking. How many you saw it? Like there were during the fucking. It's like, get the fuck over it, man. I'm worth millions of dollars, and like, you know what? If saying adjective and fucking blowing my quad are the two worst things I do in life, fuck, man. Should build a fucking statue to my ass.
Maybe they will. To your ass, no less.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
All right, so here's the first headline. Man in dog costume filmed himself having sex with Siberian husky. I'll repeat that. Man in dog costume filmed himself having sex with Siberian husky. Or drunken man assaults victim with a sandwich. One is Florida, one is New Jersey. Tell me what you think.
I'm going to go with the Furby incident with the bestiality. I'm going to go with Jersey man because it's way too hot to be in a fucking costume in Florida. And I'm going to go with the sandwich because everybody knows that at every gas station they do carry a large selection of pimento loaf sandwiches ready to strike.
You have it exactly opposite, Kevin.
Oh!
A Florida man has admitted to recording himself performing sex acts on a Siberian husky while wearing a dog costume and posting the revolting footage online, authorities said. Christian Stewart Oscar Nichols, 21, of Oldsmar, wherever that is facing charges of aggravated animal cruelty and 10 counts of prohibition of certain acts in connection with obscene materials after his arrest on Monday, according to the Pinellas County Sheriff Office. I just want to see if there's a quote from him, if there's any kind of, okay. The dog, later identified as Nichols' pet named Ember, was clearly distressed during the video and at one point tried to run away, but the man responded by hitting the dog with a penis-shaped sex toy. This is just terrible. So that was Florida, Mr. Nichols. And then the sandwich, I think the thing to remember is anything with food is always going to be Jersey. And any fucked up stuff with sandwiches or like meatball heroes, it's always going to be Jersey. A drunken northern Jersey man threw a sandwich at another man. Oh, in Virginia, though. This happened in Virginia. So it was the Jersey guy in Virginia, and he's now facing charges. Fairfax City Police Department says in a news release that 32-year-old Jonathan Magnus of Morristown, New Jersey, threw a sandwich at a 50-year-old man at a Fairfax Pizza. That is wild, and you get arrested for that. Assault and battery for the sandwich action
Mm.
in Virginia. So we're coming back. We're gonna cast Kliq the film. Kev. If it were ever to happen, we want to know. I want to know who you would choose to play your friends, and I would want to know myself. So casting Kliq the film right after this.
The roast to Ric Flair? You kidding me? It's the Nature Boy. What are they gonna say? I am the man. Okay? I am the king of trash talking. You say what you want to say. Just remember at the end of the night, when all is said and done, I get to talk about you. Woo! The roast to Ric Flair. Starrcast. Woo! Look at his old ass. Woo!
All right, we're back. Kliq This, Kevin Nash podcast. I'm Shawn Oliver. We are going to cast Kliq the film. See who's worthy to play. Now, first of all, do you guys ever consider this? Do you ever think that this would be fictionalized ever?
I actually there was a time, if anybody, they call it the Cincinnati Airport. It's actually Covington, Kentucky. But back in the day, when you could actually, park the fucking car in front of the airport and walk in and wait on your buddies, I was the first one in, and I picked up the van. We used to get those Luminas. We used to call them the hose wagons. And so there's a long escalator that goes down to baggage claim from where the gates are. And it was so funny because I just waited, and it was like, as the overhang was, and the person would come in to, and I would guess, who it was. And it was like, of course, everybody had those black fucking Magnums on, those, combat boots. And, but the first one was Shawn Michaels. It was summertime, and he had on a pair of bib overalls with a wife beater underneath it with the Magnums. And then like the Scott. And it was just like, as they came down one at a time, I was just like, this was how I would open the movie.
Everybody meeting up,
introducing, and then going out and putting your bags in and starting the road trip. So that was kind of the, I thought about it. I mean, I even, I called it King of the Road.
Look at you. Did you write a script for Christ?
I did a treatment.
Did you really?
Yeah, I was going to use Bob Seger's Turn the Page as the theme song.
On a long, lonesome highway.
Yeah.
I see it. I'm seeing it. All right, so I'm going to keep that visual thing, because I was going to ask you, like, style-wise, because you're going to cast yours and then I'm going to cast mine.
Right.
And I want to know stylistically, are you going with something outlandish? Is it a Western? Is it something?
No, this is just us.
This is straight up.
Yeah, this is
straight down.
And I'm asking Soderbergh to direct.
That's right. As you pointed out to me when I was giving you lighting tips for your space, and you're like, when you worked with Soderbergh, you pay attention to lighting. So that was the end of that. You know what came to mind? I was thinking of like casting a biopic. Do you ever see The Dirt, the Motley Crue one that they did on? There it is. Was it Netflix? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. And man, if most of the guys were okay in that though, but when you get someone wrong, it really stands out. I don't want to shit on anybody, but all right. So let's do it this way. I'll bring up a Kliq member. You tell me who you would cast in your film. Now, mine is not going to be as straight and narrow as yours. I want mine to be a 70s sitcom. I want zaniness, because the stories you've told me lend themselves to a laugh track in a studio audience in a 60s or 70s or 80s sitcom. So mine are all going to be centered around, if I had to cast sitcom characters of all generations to play the Kliq. So just bear that in mind when fans compare our two lists. So let's get yours first, Kev, for Scott. Who would you cast for
All right,
Scott.
for Scott, I chose Clint Eastwood.
And it's got to be more than the stubble, right? What's
No, I just think just that natural coolness. Like think of like Dirty Harry. I think of him with the Dirty Harry with the
Dirty Harry with a curl
and a toothpick.
Yeah. Now, would Clint have to? Would he have to do the Cuban machismo thing, or he's just playing Scott?
He's playing Scott. Just
I wonder how he would do though when we had to film some segments of like you guys at TV, like and Clint had to be cutting a promo. If he could go there, be interesting.
I don't know. After that Obama when he did it,
yeah, with the chair, the chair gimmicks. So
I'm not holding it against you, Clint. I love you, man.
So Clint, all right. So Clint,
See, the thing with this is like I tried to pick guys that looked the part, but also guys that because everybody in the Kliq is a very complex human being. They really are.
That's one adjective.
Yeah, they really are, and it's just as we go on, I'll explain.
Okay, all right,
It'll be yeah.
So, all right, playing Scott in my sitcom, KliqCom, if you will be Ray Romano. Now, there's something in the voice, okay, and Ray, he can do it. As you see, if he get a little bit of the stubble going, so he could pull it together. So Ray would be Scott. There is, I think there is a similar vibe. There is a coolness.
Yep.
To both of them. Ray's not the zany guy, the wacky guy. So he's kind of got. I could see him playing with the Scott cool vibe. So all right. So that's my Scott.
Right.
How about Shawn for you? Shawn Michaels.
Shawn Michaels.
HBK.
My choice was Brad Pitt.
Are you trying? I mean, is this a birthday present for Shawn that you're handing him there?
No, I mean you gotta know that Shawn can go from 0 to 150 miles an hour, as far as just going off, And I think that Brad Pitt proved in Fight Club that he had that kind of range. So I mean, yeah, we go Legends of the Fall, but
I was going to say we're in the Legends of the Fall.
Yeah, because Shawn is I'm trying to give the visual first, and then take the actors and their bodies of work to basically feel the complexities of the characters that they're going to be playing. And I know that Brad Pitt, of course, has, plenty of range.
Yeah.
Plenty of range. And I just thought that would be a strong casting call for that part.
Be interesting to see his ring work as well. Maybe Shawn. I wonder if Shawn could put something together, but just a few spots for a scene here and there. He looks like an athletic guy, Brad.
Yeah.
So Shawn in my sitcom will be played by Jeff Conaway, of the Taxi era. I think he had the requisite look, but also there was an element of cool. Even though there was some silliness happening, of course, on Taxi, he had the cool thing. So I think that Jeff Conaway would have been able to pull off HBK in a KliqCom setting. Now,
Jeff used to show up a lot at the Forum.
Oh, for shows, really?
Yeah. Jeff was a wrestling fan.
Yeah, it's always
good,
the
really good
souls.
Really good guy.
Yeah. Gone too soon.
Yep.
How about Kevin Nash? Who's playing Kevin Nash?
I'm going to get heat for this, but I'm going with Helmsworth.
Oh, look at you. Look at the Kevin Nash mark that I host a show with. Thor. Thor.
Hey, fuck, man.
Oh.
It's my movie.
Oh.
It was between that and Brad Garrity. So, yeah, fuck it. Put that back up. It's not bad. It's not bad.
Do
Who else is going to pay it?
Oh, look at this. Do I ask you the qualities of Thor that you see in Kevin Nash?
Well, if Jim Cornette was fucking casted, if I can say Jim, he got the hair flip, right? He'd be like, Kev, you're right. So, I don't know. No, I did you? What's the movie he's in right now? See, on top of it, Helmsworth is built a lot like I am. He's a upper body bigger guy, smaller legged guy, and when he doesn't, he has he's a leaner, but he's a big bone dude, but he's leaner. What's the one that's on right now on Netflix? Fuck.
It'll pop up in the chat here in a minute, probably.
Yeah, it's
Steve or Dominic is furiously typing.
Yeah, it's what's that? It's the one where he runs a prison, but he's
called
Spiderhead,
isn't it?
Yeah,
Spiderhead.
Spiderhead. Yeah. So, and I thought, like he showed some kind of like I don't know. I just thought that he could play me, especially when he danced. I said, yeah.
I thought we were going for like the scent of the intellectual Kevin. So I thought maybe we get Costner or something like that. We got Thor.
Yeah, but in Extraction.
All right, now in my sitcom, see, Kev, I always kind of saw you as the dad figure in the group.
Well, maybe Fred McMurray.
Maybe I was wrong with that. But John Amos, I thought, would be a great Kevin Nash, circa the Good Times era. And make no mistake about it, John Amos is a bad motherfucker.
He was a Kansas City Chief, wasn't he?
I didn't know he played ball.
I think he backed them for some reason.
Yeah, no, he was a bad dude. But I
like that.
I think the fatherly figure. I think you could pull it all together.
He was a great sitcom father figure.
Now it brings us to X-Pac. What do you have for X-Pac?
He was the hardest for me because
played for the Chiefs. I'm getting.
He did, yeah. I was correct. Good, good for you, Nash.
You should have a podcast.
Yeah, that's something I could use my my abilities. I picked Ed Norton for Pac.
I get that. Yeah, I see that.
It was two movies where I thought like Ed Norton just was. One of them is I don't know what it's called, but it's Richard. He kills the priest and Gere ends up being his defender.
Primal Fear, I want to say.
Yes. And they sit there in the room and he goes, "Come on, man, you fuck, like you knew, right?" And like Gere's like, "Fuck," Gere turns it around and makes him fuck himself in the not literally, but fuck himself in the last scene in the courtroom. But that along with I thought that Norton was great in the Hulk. Physicality wise, like I thought he was great. I thought that when he fought as Norton before he actually turned into the Hulk, I thought that he could do the physicality. And as far as Shawn Waltman was a very deep, complex person that people just don't, And I just thought that would be. On top of that, like tell me, I'm not going to get funding if I've got these guys attached to my film. That's huge.
It's a good lineup.
If you can't get the motherfucking shot, it doesn't matter who you cast.
Walk these guys into a producer's office. I think you have it. Greenlit. My favorite Ed Norton story, I have to tell you, he had such balls for doing this. He was, this is years ago. He did a film with DeNiro and Brando. I don't know what it was called. Heist. Okay, they were safe crackers or something, right? Talk about fucking hitting a home run as a young actor, right? You're between Brando and De Niro.
I believe that might have been Brando's last film.
It probably was because it was after anything I remember him doing. But so he was on one of the talk shows, Ed Norton, and like Letterman or something. They asked him, they're like, amazing. Like, what was it like being on set with two legends? And Norton goes, "I'll tell you exactly what it was like because I thought it was going to be what you thought, what you're thinking too." He said, I had a scene where we're sitting in a booth in a bar, and I'm in the middle, and Brando's on this side, and De Niro's on this side. And we do their close-ups, and then we do the turnaround, and it's my close-up. So I turn to Brando, we're doing my close-up, and he begins eating breadsticks during Ed Norton's close-up, and he's covered in crumbs. They're falling out of his mouth as he's talking. And this is what he's giving Ed Norton for his close-up. He turns to De Niro in his close-up still. De Niro is asleep, head down like this. So he throws his line out, and he's waiting, and Bob picks his head up. Bob, like I know. De Niro picks his head up and goes, "So I sleeping?" He said that's what it was like working with De Niro and Brando.
I'm surprised they actually fucking sat in there and gave him an eye line
for the turnaround.
Yeah, fuck. I'm just
that's pretty hot. No, but you know what? Those two would. I think those two would.
Yeah.
X-Pac for me, I went with Hervé Villachez because I'm looking at the just kind of the landscape, and I just feel like there should be a differentiation in stature, and if
fucking Sean Waltman's like 6'1".
Listen, he had to sit on a pillow next to me on my show.
Sean's not. I mean, people.
If you're not getting it from that one, I did put another picture in, which might make it a little more clear.
All right.
Okay, Hervé's eyebrows are gone. So I thought that one would be.
You got me with the laugh track.
Where it is.
Laugh track was what was needed.
So we're down to Hunter. Did you do events? I did events.
I didn't do events. I didn't do events because it was like he wasn't going to be in my movie.
Yeah, but I just because he was so involved with you guys, I thought he'd have to have this scene.
See, for me, it was like if I was going to do events in my life, I'd have to do Eric too. I'd have to cast Eric.
That's true too, Eric. I didn't do an Eric.
Yeah, I would. And it's just. So I just said, eh.
So I did Sam McMurray, who was of course the boss on Friends. Mm-hmm. Was Chandler's boss. So I thought he could pull off a good sitcom boss.
That's a good Vince
to be Vince. Give me your Hunter. Who was Hunter?
I went with this was a hard one also because I wanted somebody to look like him, but I also wanted somebody to have some, again, to be a hell of an actor, and I went with Sean Bean.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that works. That works. I couldn't get a sitcom Triple H. So I think what I'm going to do is, fans, why don't you? Well, we want you to send yours anyway. I want you to put hashtag KliqCast. All right, KliqCast, KLIQ cast. Send us your casting. We want to see who you guys would have cast as the Kliq, and we'll read them next week in the opening segment. And give me a Hunter, guys. If you can also throw in a sitcom era Hunter, could be 70s sitcom, 80s, 90s sitcom. So give me The Score was that movie, not The Heist. It was The Score.
Okay, The Score.
Yeah, that was the record.
It's funny. My son, when we talked about what we're going to do for the next show, like he threw some ideas at me, and he actually thought we were going to do Vince, and so I know we won't have this handy, but my son thought that Norm Macdonald would be a fucking amazing Vince. So
he's the patron saint of Kliq This, clearly.
So why don't you guys fucking talk about cock?
So who do I make this check out to? This $7.5 million. Who do I make this check out to?
I ain't touching that.
I know you're not. Well, I do have a couple of, because I have to sell the pilot. If I'm going into you have a heavy cast. You're going to sell that just on your cast. I, of course, have a band of wayward sitcom stars, so I'm going to need to pitch a couple of episodes here. So I think in the first episode I'm going to pitch, Shawn hides his girlfriend Tammy in a closet when her boyfriend's coming in the room. I'm picturing like a Friends type apartment situation, and Shawn throws Tammy in the closet when her boyfriend. Now Hunter hides his girlfriend Stephanie in a closet when her father's coming in. So the two girls are locked in the closet there. Now the guys jump in the darkness to hide from X-Pac when he wakes up because he has no eyebrows and he's looking for who did it. So in the closet, it's dark and we've got all these guys. It gets a little frisky. They can't see. And because of the long hair, Hunter and Shawn end up plowing each other while the girls sit bored on the side. Thank you very much. That would be one episode. The second one, the day after the big Halloween party, Scott comes over to Shawn and Kev's crib. He spends the day on the bowl with the shits because it turns out they all split a bag of 100 Hershey's Kisses. Scott got 34, while Kev and Sean had 33 each.
Nah.
So with the bathroom tied up all day, X-Pac is forced to shit in a friend's crown, who was left there after the Halloween party. So that could be another episode.
I could see. God, that's eerily like I'm almost like I watched that scene before.
You're feeling like it happened.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Because of the star power that we are talking about in our respective shows here, they're going to get endorsements, okay, out of this Kliq the film, and maybe even from a company like CarShield, okay? When, the segment's been brought to you by CarShield, who makes it easy and affordable to protect your car and my car from expensive repairs, and that's just for starters. So let's see here. If we were going to have some celebrity endorsements from the Kliq, what would this sound like? So, Kev, I'm going to give you the first one. What do you think a Scott endorsement would sound like? Here, read this line. I'm going to give you the line, and I want you to give it to me as Scott. Scott, CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the U.S.
Hey, yo, CarShield's the #1 auto insurance protection company in America.
There you go. And it is true. CarShield is the #1 auto protection company in the U.S. And
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are you my fucking boss? I didn't
What?
think so.
I just told Scott Hall what to do for the first time in my life. The only time we had a business deal, and he leaned over to me after I booked him through Eric Sims with cameras ready to roll, the slates in the frame. He goes, "The envelope's a little light, I'm just saying." Action.
My boy.
Okay, we're on. He fucking says to me, I put it in my book, I don't care. He says to me, 2 seconds before we're shooting a 2-hour show, "I got people waiting for me with sushi downstairs." What? Bring it up. I said, "You want to eat the sushi? Eat the sushi. Bring it up. We'll eat the sushi, then we'll CarShield has plans. They cover more parts than ever, whether your car has 5,000 miles or 150,000 miles. Let me tell you how simple this is to get your car fixed if you are protected by CarShield. When you need a repair, you choose the mechanic, and CarShield's administrators, they handle the rest. That's it. You don't have to deal with paperwork, headaches. You're taken care of. Same goes if your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road. Plans through CarShield also include coast-to-coast roadside assistant. Kev, let me try a little HBK maybe for one of these lines. We'll see how that would go if the Kliq were endorsing CarShield. CarShield's administrators are there for you with rental car options and trip reimbursements at no extra cost, too. How's that? Does that work?
Good.
Okay. Get coverage today and lock in your price now. It'll never go up. That means as long as you own your car, no matter how old it is, you're protected from the rising cost of parts and repairs. That market's going to change. Parts, repairs, that's going to change. Your price isn't because you're locking it in now. So, here, let's do this call to action maybe. I'm going to ask you to do this as Pat Patterson. It's one of my favorite. I'm going to say, CarShield helps protect my wallet from expensive car repairs. Go ahead. As Pat Patterson.
Goddamn CarShield, they protect my wallet from the fucking bandits and the fucking the son of a bitches that take your money for the goddamn fucking repairs.
That's it. But what else do I have to say? Pat said it all. Go to carshield.com/podcast to start your plan. Lock in your pricing forever. carshield.com/podcast. A deductible may also apply. Goddamn.
Yes. Goddamn. Fucking go banana.
Listen, if Green can't sell ads after that, making the ads a bit God damn it.
Fuck.
I know Pritchard ain't doing that. You could leave that in. Who the hell's doing that? A bit.
We are.
CarShield got
We
a
are.
bit. All right. It is time for fan questions. You have much to say. I wish I could ask every one of these, Kev. So many of the questions that pop up on Twitter and on YouTube, they're good, but of course we have limited time. And we spent an inordinate amount of time talking about Slamboree 97. So here we are kind of under the gun.
Who won that bunkhouse match?
Oh, God. I'm going to guess it was Dusty. Right?
Yeah, had to.
That was that. Emma has, oh, by the way, Ask Nash is how you're going to do this every week, folks. Hashtag Ask Nash. Emma says, what era of WWF do you consider yourself to be a part of? Do you consider About Diesel part of the rock and wrestling era or a different era? You do hear like the eras referenced.
I say that that our era was the new generation era. Yeah.
Right.
Diesel was a champion for a new generation.
Right.
Don't know if you fucking know that or not.
I do. But then, you know what, though? But you crossed up. You had that kind of crossover thing, right? Because then,
yeah, but it was to Turner, so.
It was, yeah, that's true. She asked about WWF, so yeah.
Yeah.
The new generation. Lindsay says, how did your family first react when you were booked in your role in Magic Mike? And what was the reaction when they first saw the movie?
I mean, you know, if you're an actor, you know, I mean, I had to tell my wife that I had to sign a agreement for frontal nudity, you know, but I said I don't think it's going to come to that.
No different than WCW,
right? And no, I looked at it as I was, you know, this was definitely going to be something that was out of my wheelhouse, so. You know, I think as an actor, you want that. You don't want to be typecast. So,
yeah, I don't think you have to worry about that. That was definitely a departure.
Yeah.
Veterans with Benefits podcast asks, what was it like being 7 feet tall in boot camp? And how long did they use you to take the flag down during taps? Love the show, you guys. See, I'm not a real man who went to the military, so you're gonna have to tell me what reference there's. Take the meaning like that. They didn't have to pull the gimmick. You could reach up and.
Yeah, we didn't do that.
Right.
Not in boot camp. Tell you one thing. I'm only 6'10", but I had to get a waiver because 6'6" is as tall as you can be to be in the military, and I went through basic training in a pair of pony basketball shoes. They didn't have boots. They had to make boots for me. They had to make combat boots for me because I wear 15.
Why the height limit?
I guess I guess it's such a difference to getting shot in the head at 6'6" as it is 6'10". You know, like you can't fucking hide.
I was going to say, it's harder to dig a foxhole for someone like you, I guess.
You got to go another shovel.
How long were you in?
3 years.
Okay. And what branch was it?
I was in the Army. I was in 95 Bravo, which is military police, but I was actually stationed at a NATO site that guarded items that were vital to national security with a top secret clearance. And we also had to wear this thing on us to make sure that we didn't get too much fucking radiation during a shift. So you tell me what we were doing. Why don't you tell me?
So
I got 5,000 fucking dogs in the Baja.
It would repel?
No, it would tell you. It would just tell you how much radiation you were absorbing.
Was a meter. It was a meter.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Madge Rick asks, do you think the NWO in its original incarnation would have been even bigger or had more longevity had you guys gotten HBK to get his release and be the third man instead of Hulk? Would Shawn have shown up in the crowd first then instead of Scott? Or is he third man at the bash? A lot to consider.
Yeah, number one, Shawn just got the world title, in the WWE, so he's not coming fucking anywhere. So that, I mean, it's not even something that I've ever even wrapped my, like 2 years in after he had dropped, it dropped it, I made a push to get him in, but then by then they were given guaranteed money, and I tried to get, I thought Taker Taker was a great one. I tried to get Mark to come over, but
how would it have been different without Hulk, though? I know the real world situation wouldn't happen, but
I think that the thing with Hulk was, that Eric's idea was that he wanted it to look like the WWE was invading Turner, and they were going back and forth with the fucking skits with fucking Skiing Gene, all this fucking other shit, and they there was nobody that was more branded WW, and at that time F, than the yellow and red of Hulk Hogan. So when he comes down, if Bobby Heenan doesn't fucking say, well, but whose side is he on? Motherfucker, really? Really?
oh, it's live TV.
Yeah.
Sleepy Worker Mark III says, how'd you get the powerbomb as a finish?
They
preferred a different one in hindsight.
No, they took it from Adam Bomb and gave it to me because they started to push me, and I felt bad because Brian was good. Brian just got fucked, and they gave me his finish. I loved it. I remember was it maybe here where they talked somebody was talking to me somewhere, and they said, did you ever get upset because Batista did the Batista bomb? And I said, why would I get upset? I said, fuck. I said, every time, Dave gave the Batista bomb, he took a bump.
Mm-hmm.
Like he landed on his ass. Like the fucking beauty of the power bomb was, fuck, man, you could pick somebody up, dump them, fucking go walk over and stand on them. You didn't have to bend your fucking image. It's like, nah, my lazy fucking ass, that's a perfect fucking move for me.
Pick him up, drop.
Yeah, the only thing would have been better was maybe some kind of a fucking, maybe the claw.
How about the heart punch?
Heart punch is always good, but
you gotta bring back.
I don't think anybody can do it quite like Mr. Stasiak, so you gotta leave that alone.
Yeah. Bayek of Siwa, what are your thoughts on Rick Rude? To me, he was one of the most badass and underrated wrestlers ever. No one could sell an atomic drop quite like him. Thank you to both you and Sean giving us the most touching episode on Scott Hall. Bad guy is smiling down upon you.
Rude was my first mentor of prominence, of somebody that was fucking over. And I remember the first time Rude came in to WCW, and it was like Sting's birthday party. I know we were in Milwaukee. And it was like after a pay-per-view, and Rude came in the back door and basically fucking just gave Sting probably 4 or 5 just fucking shoot shots. Like fucking, he had the mouth was going, he had a fucking goose egg on the eye, and I just watched it, and I just said to myself, like, oh, when you come in, fuck everyone, get over it. And then we started riding together, and he couldn't roll a joint to save his fucking life. So he was like, hey, Ben Man, can you fucking roll a joint? I'm like, yeah, I can roll a joint. He's like, all right. He'd always the same. Like, all right, I'll drive. We'd leave the arena. His gimmicks would kick in fucking 7 miles down the road. He'd pull over, take the wheel, big man.
I was going to say, he was doing plenty more than the joint. So
yeah, but I remember one time we were driving, and I light a joint. I hand it to him. He hands me the joint back. All of a sudden, he fires up another one. I'm like, all right, we each got our own joint. I guess we just says. The next thing you know, he forgets that he's got one in the ashtray, lights up another, and now we got 3 joints and 2 dudes. I'm like, like maybe Rick, we just like put 2 of those out and just kind of, like, I don't think we need to fucking hotbox this motherfucker any more than it is.
Like incense, just let it burn.
Like, God damn, man. My wife, I always kind of protected her and didn't bring her around the business. And we went out to dinner with Rick and his wife, Michelle. And we go out and, the ladies are talking and me and Rick belly up to the bar and we're fucking pounding some fucking drinks. And we get to the table and, before the food even came, man, Rick was just fucking like,
doing the Kerry Von Erich deal.
Gone, just fucking gone. And my wife was just like, that was like the first thing. And I told my wife, like, you don't want to be around the pirate ship too much. I said, and we came home that night and she was in the car. She was just like, holy fuck. And then
you're like, see, I told you those guys.
Fast forward to fucking 1997, and I'm at the fucking Diamondbacks game behind home plate and fucking parking where the fucking players park. Game's over. Guys asking my wife, can you wake him up so I can sweep around him? So, oh well.
Jack Jones, what happened during the filming of Punisher when you accidentally got stabbed during filming?
Ow.
What was what were you stabbed with?
What's that?
What were you stabbed with?
So they had it's a scene where there's a butterfly knife, and they have 2 knives. They have the one that he actually fucking manipulates, and then they have the other one that as you push it, the blade it retracts inside of the handle.
So the fake one and the real. You were fucking Alec Baldwin before Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. So I got stabbed right here in the collarbone with the real one. And they fucking Thomas did it, and it wasn't like I'd done fucking 9,000 movies, and this is a Marvel. So I'm just like fucking boom, man. They stabbed me, and I just no.
I think they need the real one on the set for a different shot.
Because it was the weight of it was different for him to handle it.
Right.
To practice with it, because he went through like special forces training to allocate to all the different weaponry and everything else, and so they taught him with a real butterfly, and then of course they made and the prop guys over there sniffing up this Asian girl's ass trying to fucking get her number, and doesn't change out the knives, and I take one in the collarbone.
And he couldn't feel a difference? I mean, I would have checked it, I think, before we started shooting, but whatever.
Yeah, but that's, that exactly when that shit happened on the set with Baldwin, I said to myself, I'm like, yeah, yeah, in hindsight, of course, yes. You should have, but you've done it, It's like, fuck, it's like, it's somebody else's job,
Yeah.
You're handed a fucking weapon. It's like and we're going, and action. Fucking, you better have the right weapon.
Yeah, and I mean sets are. Oh, for anyone who's never been, I played a cop in 2, a film and a TV show, and you can't even walk off the set to grab a fucking donut off the craft service table without the AD taking the gun from. I mean, that gun never left the set unless it was in the hands of, I'm saying an AD, maybe it was a prop master or whatever, but as soon as you started to walk away, they'd call you over and go, oh, hold on, I gotta take the gun. So 99% of the time, that stuff is taken very seriously.
Yes.
So I don't want to cast aspersions on the prop masters union. Just in time, you brought up the DC Armory. HBK was my absolute favorite. Rockers at the time, and it was so hot in there, I asked my dad if we could leave early during the match. How did you get through a match without dying of heat stroke? Not the hot crowd you're looking for. LOL.
Yeah, no, that was a miserable fucking venue, just absolutely miserable. I mean, there are certain venues that just fucking I mean, you think of just shit box places that you've worked. One was in, I think, Starkville. It's like a rodeo place. Had the floor was dirt. You walked out on pallets to get to the ring, and the shower was a 2x4. Okay, so you got a 2x4 that goes up 7 feet. It's got a fucking V cut in it, garden hose duct taped. That's the fucking shower.
Well, it's like Our Gang puts on a wrestling show.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, we're out of money. Maybe we should have a circus.
Who booked you? That was WWF?
No, the WCW.
That was WCW?
First tour.
Holy fuck. Why would they pick the venue? How many people did they get in there?
I think the standard fucking 900 to 1,200 people.
Wow. Talk about a C show. I'm surprised the Outsiders were even on that one.
No, this is my first run.
Oh, this is Oz.
Yeah, this is the 90 to 93 shit show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, makes more sense. Salvatore. I still believe Joe Dumars could have easily handed Lambeer his ass. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Dumars could have took Bill Lambeer?
Fuck yeah. Dumars is fucking... Yeah.
Yeah, Lambeer was a bit of
Lambeer
a puss,
grew
right?
up...
He threw the elbows underneath, but...
Lambeer was the fucking only guy in the NBA whose dad made more money than him.
What does that do?
His dad was some fucking CEO of, like... Yeah. I wish somebody would look up fucking... We played Notre Dame when I was a freshman in the tournament. No, I was a sophomore. So I'm a sophomore. This is who's on the Notre Dame team: Orlando Woolridge, Kelly Tripucka, Lambeer, Flowers, Hanslick. Fuck, they had like 7 or 8 guys that went on to play in the pros. And I go in and fucking our coach, my good friend, Coach DeVos, says,
remain nameless.
And Lambeer had fucking like got a couple of cheap shots in on our big our stud Reggie Johnson, and he got the ball and turned that fucking, I hammered the fuck out of him. And I was a sophomore and he was a senior. He turned around like he was going to belly up, like he was going to turn right to chest to me. Fucking, I was just like. Out, let's go. I'd already punched a fucking guy. My first or second game, I punched a guy at Tennessee.
That was the coach.
No, I punched a guy when we played San Francisco. And the guy fucking was roughing up the guys. They put me in. I fucking punched a guy in the side of the head underneath the basket. That's one thing about fucking basketball guys. They fucking do that shit where they get. It's like, fuck that, man. I'm stumped. You get in. You get my space. I've always been taught you can't throw a punch without moving your shoulder. If I see any fucking, because if you go to push me, that's going to go first. And I'm fucking clocking you. And I'm a lefty.
So if you see that
if I see any movement, fuck
you're
that.
You're going to throw. Okay.
I'm throwing.
Right. That'd have been great if you had a highlight reel with you.
Me knocking that motherfucker out?
Yeah, that'd have been great. You, Bird, all the greats would have done it. Putting you in with the greats, by the way.
Thanks
for your time in.
That's exactly what I was. I was a fucking hatchet, man.
David Grzybowski, what's the worst memorabilia item that you hate to sign?
There's this fucking creepy little big sexy doll that they made, and it's got like it's got little pleather outfit on. It's got my plastic face, but the hair is actual doll hair. It's like fucking Trilogy of Terror.
On the balls or on your head?
Nah, not on my balls because I fucking no.
So maybe when you roll the pleather down, you get Cousin It pops out.
Never. Always trim your shit.
All right. Listen, I don't know what JR did on his show this week, but I'm going to guess we covered a lot of topics that he didn't. Guys, listen, Ask Nash, hashtag Ask Nash. If you want to be a part of the Q&A every week, we are going to take your questions every week. You're part of this show. Listen, another one in the bag, and let me tell you, in the can, in the bag, whatever. I challenge all you, JR, Bruce, Eric, Conrad. You're going to talk about jacking off this week. We want to hear your techniques, your tips.
That's right. Everybody's doing it.
Learn how to navigate the top of the toilet gimmick this week. Kliq This is a production of Butch and Sundance Media, produced in association with Podcast Heat. Producer Steve Kaufman. Graphics by Dominic D'Angelo. Title sequence by Wesley Burleson. Theme song by Dale Oliver. Technical research by Tristan Nash. Copyright 2022. Butch and Sundance Media. Kev, you want to do another one?
Fuck yeah.